called British Transport Police, and I was like, I just want to know a bit more about this customer incident. I can't find my dad. Like, is it to do with him? And they were like, oh, can you tell me his name and date of birth? So I told them, and then they were like, right, and his address? And I didn't know it. So I was like, oh, somewhere around Ascot, because I think he's just moved. And then the guy on the phone was just like, yeah, it's your dad. He jumped in front of a train. I was like, oh, fuck. Where is he? What hospital? And the guy was like, said that there is no hospital. He's dead. So we're going to send a police car. Just where are you? And then everything sort of melted. Like, I don't really remember much out of that other than the police car picked me up, and then they interviewed me just to try and sort of understand why, or like try and piece everything together. And I was like, to be honest, the whole mad thing about this is like, they were like, have you got any idea? And I was just like, well, he did get made bankrupt, but like, he showed no signs of weakness, no vulnerability, nothing. So it was obviously a massive shock. So this story's on my LinkedIn. It's written down in words. So yeah, please feel free to read and share. So it doesn't happen to others.
A couple of things I wanted to ask you about, because you mentioned your wife asked you about this, and then it was almost the first time you articulating your own thoughts and emotions.
Yeah.
What made you decide to go public? Because this is obviously a very difficult thing to talk around, right? So how did you think, okay, I need to tell my story now?
So the reason why I came across Movember is genuinely, I just wanted to grow a kick-ass moustache. That is genuinely the reason. I didn't actually even know what they did as a charity. I vaguely knew it was a men's health charity. It was like, but there was no connection, like mental health, dad. Yeah. So it was all a bit of a weird coincidence. But as you know, I don't believe in coincidence anymore. It was lockdown. I hadn't done anything for charity for a while. I've run a couple of marathons. Actually, after dad passed away, we were supposed to be climbing Kilimanjaro together. And obviously he wasn't around anymore, so I just thought, I'll just do it anyway. So that was like my last charity exploit, and that was like 10 years ago. So I wanted to do something nice for charity during lockdown. And then I did a bit more digging on Movember. I was like, actually, yeah, it is a mental health charity. And it's November 2020. It's literally exactly 10 years since my dad died. Let's just write a bit of a post saying, I'm doing this in honor for my dad. And then like the outpouring of like gratitude and like everyone saying how brave it was and how amazing it was that I was doing this. I was just like, all I've done is told people I lost my dad to suicide. It wasn't like some big emotional post. It was just like this is what's happened to me and this is why I'm doing it. And I was so touched, and like, I'd never done anything with such a purpose before, and it hit me pretty hard. So I set a target of £500, and then on day 2 I was on like $2,500. So I was like, wow, this is really something here. My wife, who works in social media, was like, well, this is a bandwagon that you should obviously jump on, because you could do something really amazing here. So that's how it started, and that's how I ended up telling the story. And then why did I want to share it? Well, I just thought it was going to raise more awareness and raise more money, and give me content and ideas that I could share. Because what I was doing along the road is I was sharing a lot of, so obviously I've shared with you the obituary, a couple of obituaries that were written about him, just to give a bit of an idea of the character, make it a bit more personal. And then I thought, right, well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to share this story, because how many suicides are you aware of where you actually know the background of what was it like for that person on that day to discover what had happened? It's like, I think it was quite a shocking experience for a lot of people that I thought was. Look, I got quite a lot of feedback. I asked a few friends whether I should do it or not, what their thoughts were, and I got a lot of mixed messages. Some were like, "Wow, that's a really personal story. You should keep it to yourself." But others were like, "That could be so powerful." Yeah. And I took the risk.
Just a question on that: did they change after you'd posted and people? So they were like, "Oh, you actually did the right thing. I was wrong." Yeah. Yeah,
but I think only because they were a bit worried about me and how it could affect me.
Okay.
Because we spoke about before how the media attention at the time. Yeah. It was a high-profile story. Like, it was on the front page of the Evening Standard.
Wow.
And that really affected me badly at the time. Really. And I think my friends were just a bit concerned for my welfare.
Yeah.
But it affected me in a positive way. I got a lot out of it. I find it very cathartic talking about it. I know not everyone does, but that's how it affects me personally. And yeah, the outcome was amazing. I raised that year £16,500.
Yeah.
And now I travel up and down the country doing talks around mental health and my experiences and suicide prevention. And that really is my passion now. My passion is to make sure that other families don't have to go through what my family went through. Because when you look at the statistics on suicide, it's crazy. It's like, I mean, the most stark one to me is in the UK, the biggest killer of men between the ages of 15 and 49 is suicide. It's not cancer. It's not.
Wild.
It's like that is the biggest killer, and it's obviously the most preventable thing if we just looked after ourselves a bit more and just understood each other's thoughts and feelings and just take care of each other a little bit more, really.